What's up, everybody? How's it going? This is Chris, back for another English learning video. And what I wanted to do this time is something a little bit different. It is really important to practice pronunciation, but I also want to teach you some better phrases and sentences in English. So I think that we can learn to speak English and at the same time we can practice our pronunciation. So what I want to talk about today is how you can make your English sound more polite. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't say these things, you are not polite. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying you have to say these things in order to sound polite. However, some people believe that certain phrases or certain sentence structures in English sound more polite. And as a language learner, sometimes it's difficult to know what kind of things are polite in a language, and you can often sound a little bit too direct. Every language has different ways of expressing things. Some languages are more direct, some languages use more polite language, and they do it in a different way. So let's talk about ways in which you might be able to sound more polite in English. So let's talk about a few different scenarios. The first one is when you're ordering food. The most direct thing would be to say, I want roast chicken with chips. But normally in everyday life, if you wanted to sound more polite, we wouldn't say I want something. You could use I'd like, I would like, or I'd like. Normally we'd just say I'd like. So the I'd like, that these two words blend together. I'd like. I'd like. I'd like the roast chicken. If you're ordering something, normally you would say the. For example, the beef, the chicken, the duck. So you could say, I'd like the roast chicken, or I'd like roast chicken. Other ways you can order things in a restaurant or a shop more politely. You could say, I'll have something. I'll have the roast chicken. Or you could say, can I have? Can I have the roast chicken? Or, can I get? You hear this one all the time. If you go into a shop in the UK or you go into a restaurant, you'll hear people saying, can I get? Can I get the roast chicken? Or, could I have? So you might know that could is a little bit more polite sounding than can. So you can say, could I have the roast chicken? Although, can I have would also be acceptable. Okay, so what about if you are asking somebody to do something for you? You want somebody to do you a favor or help you to do something. So you could say, can you? Can you open the window? If you want to make it sound even more polite, you can add please to the end. Often when you're asking for anything, you can put please at the beginning or the end. And you could also change can to could. So you could say, could you open the window? Or, could you open the window, please? So, could you, when you're saying it quickly at normal speed, it joins together. It becomes could you. Ju. It sounds like a j sound. Could you, like that. Could you open the window, please? Another structure that you could use is would you mind? For example, would you mind opening the window? Would you mind opening the window? Would you mind passing me the salt? So after would you mind, we use the present continuous, the ing form of the verb. We say, would you mind opening? Not to open, not open, but would you mind opening the window? Okay, so what about if you want to do something and you want to ask the other person if it's okay? What should you say? You can say, can I do something? Like, can I turn on the radio? Or you can use the one we just learned. Do you mind or would you mind? Then we add if. Do you mind if I do something? So it would be, do you mind if I turn on the radio? Or, would you mind if I turn on the radio? We can also use the past tense here to make it sound even more polite. You can say, would you mind if I turned on the radio? So this one is also acceptable. Sometimes we use the past form of the verb in certain situations to sound more polite. You can also say, is it okay if? For example, is it okay if I smoke here? A nice easy one. Is it okay if? So if you want somebody else to do something, maybe not for you, but you're giving them a suggestion. You're saying, why don't you do something? Why don't might sound a little bit direct. So you could use the phrase, how about? Or if you, instead of saying, try this, it's good, you could say, how about trying this? How about? So these words also blend together. We say, how about trying this? You could also say, how about some, and then the thing that you're asking them to try. For example, how about some tea? This means, would you like some tea? It's the same thing. Would you like? Would you like? So if you are asking, you say, I would like some tea. If you're asking somebody else politely, you can say, would you like some tea? Here we would stress that would, like, and tea. Would you like some tea? Would you like some tea? So if you are asking somebody for help, if you want somebody to help you with something, you can also use would you mind. You could say, would you mind helping me? You can also add for a moment or for a minute onto the end to make it sound even more polite. So you could change it to, would you mind helping me for a moment? Or would you mind helping me for a minute? For a moment or for a minute emphasizes that it's just for a short time. You're not going to take up a lot of their time, so it won't be very inconvenient for them. So that's why we add for a moment onto the end. Another sentence structure you could use is, could you possibly? So this changes to could you, like this. Could you possibly do something? Could you possibly help me? So you can use anything at the end of this structure to make it sound really polite. There's actually a joke online that says that English people often speak in a really indirect way. We often don't say exactly what we mean because we're worried about being impolite. So this is actually a really important point in British culture. So the joke goes, if an English person says to you, I think that might not be the right answer, they're basically trying to say that's the wrong answer. Or if they're saying to you, let's meet really soon, they mean I never want to see you again. It's not like that exactly, but we do try to use more polite forms in everyday speech, especially in a business situation or when you're dealing with somebody maybe in a public place who you haven't talked to before. Another thing you might want to think about is how to say yes and no. Maybe we can go into this in more detail in a different video, but if you just say yes, it sounds very short and sometimes it could sound like you're impatient. You don't have time to answer their question in a lot of detail. So you could actually use more enthusiastic or polite forms of yes. You could say, sure, definitely, absolutely, or yes, please. Even just adding please to the end of yes would make it sound even more polite. Instead of saying no, think about adding thank you. If somebody asks you if you want something or if you'd like to do something, you can say, no, thank you. So yes often goes with please, and no often goes with thank you. If you think somebody's wrong and you want to say no, you want to disagree with them, you could say, I'm sorry, but I don't agree. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Or you could say, I'm not sure that's right. It's better than saying you're wrong. That sounds really rude. It sounds really direct and not so nice. So you could say, I'm not sure that's right. Or, I think you may be mistaken. This is a more roundabout, a more long-winded way of saying this. And lastly, I want to talk about what you can say if you didn't hear somebody properly. You wouldn't normally just say, what? What? And so this sounds really rude. You could say it to a friend, but it's not really that polite. So instead of saying what, you could say, excuse me. Excuse me. This is quite simple, but it's more polite than what. Or you could say a longer sentence. You could say, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Or, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say that again? Could you? Could you? Could you say that? And again, it's not pronounced again here, it should be again. Could you say that again? That and again, they connect together. That again. That again. Could you say that again? Okay, try to remember these phrases and maybe you can use them again next time you're speaking English. I'm not saying they're the only ways to be polite, but they could give you a good start. Okay, that's all for this video. I really hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment for me below and I'll try and get back to you. And one more thing, could you do me a quick favor because this would really help me out? I'm going to try to make more videos on different topics related to English speaking. And I'd really like to help more people to find out about this channel. So if you have a friend who might be learning English or this might be useful to, just send them the link for this video or share this video with them on Facebook or maybe on WhatsApp or in a group that you're a member of. That would really help me to spread the word about this channel. And don't forget to subscribe. You can read the full post and the full text for this video on my website. And that's it for this time. If you have anything else that you would like me to make a video about, please let me know and I'll definitely consider it. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.